I'm going to read to you a part from my screenplay. I'm assuming this part was written in 2020, although most of it was written in 2019. It's called My Parents and HIV. I say, Dr. Natural, I suspect my parents were heroin addicts, and my dad contracted HIV, and that's the reason for their divorce back in 1999. Dr. Natural asks me, have you ever asked them this question? I said, nobody's ever told me this verbally, but down deep I know it to be true. He says, interesting, tell me more. I said, my mom shelters me, babies me, tries to hide the truth. Then she remarried my stepfather, who has intense PTSD. It's like walking on eggshells being around him, but she needs his money. Dr. Natural says, this sounds like fantasy and daydreams becoming delusions. Your parents love you and want the best for you. There are people who live with sadistic bully parents. That's not true for you. No longer at Dr. Natural. It's Saturday and Poppy, my biological father, comes over the house for the weekly visit. He brings me groceries, toilet paper, Gatorade, cold cut, milk, etc. He has a gigantic cut on his hand. I ask him, do you have HIV? Poppy dodging the question. He says, the cut is scabbed. You can't get HIV from incidental contact. I ask him, getting worried, do you have HIV? Poppy's getting angry. He's like, I don't have HIV. I suspect he's lying. We have a fun day, and I begin obsessing I have HIV, and I contracted it from Poppy. Quick flash to a random Dr. Natural appointment. I say, for years my mom has been willfully blind to my self-sabotaging and overexercise. At home with my mom. Mom, Dad was over and was touching my cold cuts with a cut on his hand. Can I get HIV? My mom's like, you can't get HIV that way. And the cold cuts were sealed. Changing topics. I'm like, my back is really hurting. It's from years of overexercise. I can barely walk. Can you make an appointment with the orthopedic? She says, you don't need an appointment. You need to wear a back brace. Then buy me a back brace. My mom getting angry. I have to know you'll wear it if I buy it. We don't have the money. No one has jobs. Me getting frustrated and angry. I'll wear it. Please buy it. My mom talking to me angry. All right. Also, my mom, I have years of exposure to excessive sunlight. I was literally outside all day long for years. I need to make an appointment with the dermatologist. And I get bad stress headaches all day long for years. I need to see a neurologist, the brain doctor. Weeks pass and she doesn't make the appointments. After that angry ordeal, an hour later we meet out back and sit by the fire pit. It's like a bipolar mood swing. Now we're having fun. Now we're having a great time. You know, there's like a real bipolar mood swing. I said, I had such a wonderful time sitting with you guys in the backyard. Let's do it again soon. I wasn't feeling too good, but after socializing with loved ones, now I feel great. My mom says, we love you too. It was fun to see you. Happy and laugh. It was fun to see you happy and laughing. Thank you. I said, I enjoyed sitting, talking, and laugh. My stepfather says, I enjoyed sitting, talking, and laughing. It's always good to spend time with family. That's what makes memories. Back at the Dr. Natural appointment, I say, when I get angry with my parents, I make sensational social media posts on the internet. I want to go get vengeance by going viral. A chain reaction will happen. Then they'll be shamed and I'll be a Hollywood A-lister. Dr. Natural's like, it's like a written temper tantrum. I say only 10 or so people read it. He says, it's unlikely a major motion picture company or a pop superstar like you daydream about reads this. I say, I daydream this will end like a feel-good Hollywood movie. Dr. Natural says, unfortunately the people reading this are most likely cyberbullies. I say, I hope those cyberbullies leave me alone. They've caused enough trouble already. Dr. Natural says, exactly. Then after exercising my demons online, the tsunami starts to pass. Dr. Natural says, you often lose sight of all the positive when your emotion overtakes you. I say, then I start to think of the happy times and begin to feel guilt. There's so much to take down off the internet that it might be impossible. And they have no idea. It's like a rabbit hole of parental criticism. Dr. Natural says, if your parents saw this, how would you feel? I said, they'd be crushed. They wouldn't know what to say or do. It's like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not looking to hurt my parents. I want this to end happily for everyone, especially my family. Dr. Natural says, then stop talking about your parents publicly on the internet. How do you think it will end? I say, when I'm frustrated alone in my head, I want to feel validated and heard. He says, then don't express yourself in this way. It might end badly. I say, I want to be a good, loving guy, not a bad man. He says, the first stop is to stop negatively talking about your parents publicly on the internet. I just said to Dr. Natural that I'm going to stop making sensational social media posts about my parents online. At home, my mom's yelling at me and yelling at me and yelling at me. I'm at my wit's end, and I add to the rabbit hole with an angry, written temper tantrum. There was nothing else to do. I wanted to scream. I say to Dr. Natural at the next appointment, I was bullied in middle and high school. They'd physically hit me, causing bruises on my arms, verbally taunt me until I hysterically cried, would steal and hide my backpack. They even put a worm in my sandwich, just to name a few traumas. Dr. Natural says, you learned to feel the world was unsafe because people were sabotaging you. You're in constant panic, paranoia mode. But you need to realize it's over. People are not harming you anymore. It's turned into constant fear of HIV. I'll give you examples from this week. On Wednesday, I was in the emergency room. I thought the nurse was poisoning me for nefarious reasons. Needless to say, she probably wasn't and was just doing her job. On Thursday in Central Park in New York City, I thought I stepped on a sharp object. I'm imagining it's a hypodermic needle, but there was nothing around. Yesterday, I stepped on a big napkin on my walk. Then a sprinkler wet my shoe. I thought, did HIV get in my shoe from the mixture of the napkin and water? This morning, I noticed my toothbrush was warm and wet. Not sure how it happened. Needless to say, I started daydreaming and catastrophizing. Did someone break into my appointment to poison me? When I take my walks, I see I'll see needles and condoms, and I'll be afraid I stepped on them. In New York City, air conditioner water will drip on me, or someone will accidentally spit when they talk, or there was a carton of milk or something that looked like dried blood on it. I washed it off, but it got on my hands. I'm afraid people are nefariously trying to infect me by poisoning my food, for example. I'm afraid of public bathrooms. Dr. Natural says, the world sounds like a big and scary place to you. You just want to stay home safe and sound. I say, I like it when my mom comforts me, tells me that everything's okay, that I don't have HIV from these sadistic monsters. But then I get irritated with my parents and say my chains are maternal. To me, HIV is worst case scenario. I haven't had much fun in my life, and if I become HIV positive, my life will change significantly. Very few women will date me. I fear I'll have no friends. It'll be like the end of the world as I know it. Dr. Natural says, you have horrifying panic attacks that HIV is all around you, on everything. This stems from childhood bullying. Even your body is bullying you and making you feel unsafe. I say it's an exhausting way to live.